Hello, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of the 4-3 Show. I'm your host, Ryan Blank. I'm alongside Parker Dunn, Pat Fortuna, and Dominic Stern. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, actually. No reason to complain.
Doing all right.
Padres lost the first ever playoff game I can remember in my life. So I've been doing better. Thanks for asking.
Pods in 3.
Hopefully.
Pods in 3. I think it's going to happen. Pods in 3.
For the sake of my living situation, pods in 3.
Same with the A's. A's in 3. I got you, Parker.
I hope so.
Okay. Today we have a great show planned. We're going to go over the NBA Finals, and we will talk about NFL Weeks 3 and 4, but we're going to start off with the NBA Finals preview. We saw the Celtics sadly fall to the Heat, and the Lakers close out the Nuggets. We have a great matchup of Lakers-Heat in the Finals. What do you guys like about this matchup, and what do you see going into the Finals?
This man said great matchup. The Heat are getting walloped right now in Game 1. I think it's 17 points at halftime right now. Which, by the way, thanks for tuning in. If you're here during Game 1 of the NBA Finals, don't know who our scheduling guy is, but good job to you, man.
That would be Ryan Blank.
I know. Subtle shots. No, I don't think it's that great of a matchup. I think the Lakers are going to win it in 4. I think that the Celtics had a much better chance at matching up with the Lakers, but clearly we don't because we couldn't even beat the Heat. So that's life. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a pretty quick series the way they're playing right now. Lakers in 4.
This is a series where I could see it being a good one, but Jimmy Butler rolled his ankle right before the second quarter ended. That's a concern. Obviously, I'm not able to watch the game right now since we're on air. But that I'm not facing a TV, so I can't really be doing that. But it's all right. Hopefully for his sake, Jimmy's all right, because that would be a huge blow to Miami. And should he not be able to return, or should it be something that holds him back to the point where he's not very efficient, not playing good minutes, that's definitely going to hurt the chances of Miami to do something in this series. So hopefully he's all right.
Right, and it's really a matchup of a really good three-point shooting team with a ton of role players in the Miami Heat against a dynamic duo in the Lakers with Anthony Davis and LeBron James matched up with a ton of role players. So to me, it's a matter of who's going to dominate more, Anthony Davis and LeBron James, or the three-point shooter of the Miami Heat right now. It's the Lakers.
Yeah, the Heat got out to an early lead. They're up 23-10. Now they're down by 18 at half, 17 or 18.
That's what it was. It was 10-10, and they went on the 13-point run. My bad.
Yeah, so it's not looking good for the Heat Game 1, but Jimmy Butler did stay in and finish the half, so that's a good sign. Maybe it's just a bad roll of the ankle. Hopefully he's okay and he doesn't have any big drop-off after this injury. But I still think that he can make this a competitive series. I think that they have that never quit mentality, that underdog mentality. Jimmy Butler is a terrific player. He's clutch in the fourth quarter. But like you guys said, the Lakers are going to win this series. I don't think there's going to be a doubt about it because they've got the best duo in the league. They've got 2 top 5 players on that team. So I really like the Lakers, but I think that this series could go to 6 games.
The Heat are a bunch of posers, dude. I'm still not sold on them. I know they killed us. I know they did. And I know it wasn't even close. But I'm really not sold on the Miami Heat. I think they're a fluke. I think they're a bunch of jokes. I don't see them going anywhere further than 4 games.
I think that's just incredibly wrong. I mean, you're seeing just a complete team out on the floor. Not tonight, but, I mean, they played 4 games against the Pacers, rolled them. 5 games against the Bucks, a team that was the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference and has arguably the best player in the world. You know, he was a little bit hurt and banged up in the series, but still rolled them. And then you played the Celtics, who I know you know are great, and we all think are great. They've rolled them. So I don't know how you can say they're a joke. And I mean, you could maybe say that.
No, I don't think they're a joke. I think they're posers. I'll say that. I think they're the joke was was too harsh of a word. That's my bad.
I
I'm
mean,
just a
you could
little
say,
angry.
listen, yeah, very angry now. I wouldn't say such a thing about the Cardinals right now. But I think what you're trying to say is they played their best basketball in those 3 series. And then the Lakers right now are outmatching them in game 1. You can't read the entire series into game 1. Now, is this what the rest of the series could look like? Possibly. I wouldn't expect the Lakers to win the next 3 games by 20 points each time, though. That's just unreasonable to expect.
Yeah, this is a good Miami Heat team. There's a reason why they're in the finals. They've played very well in the playoffs, and even going into the bubble, they're a very good regular season team. So this is a team that you can look to a lot of different guys to get you some scoring. They communicate on defense. I just like the way that they function as an entire unit. And I think that this is a team that is outmatched from a talent perspective. I do think that the Lakers have 2 of the best players in the world and are going to inevitably win the championship. But I definitely think it could be a competitive series. How competitive as far as a game per game perspective or as far as how long the series will go, I can't tell you. I don't really have a prediction. I think going into it, I was thinking maybe Lakers in 6. I could see Miami taking 2 of them. But it really depends on how it plays out in the game and see how it translates over in game 2.
Yeah, for sure. The Heat team that the Lakers going up against play great basketball. They have great chemistry. They have a terrific head coach who completely has outmatched every coach that they've gone against. And I really think that, yeah, this might be a rough game 1, but you can expect Eric Spoelstra to go make those adjustments to give them a great chance to win game 2. This is a team that you can't count out at all. They are kind of like the Nuggets of the Eastern Conference because they just don't go away, and they are great at making adjustments. So I still think that the Heat are going to make this a competitive series. But now we're going to move on to our next NBA topic and our final one. A surprising move was made over the weekend with Doc Rivers being fired or leaving the Los Angeles Clippers. What do you guys see this move as, and what do you think the effects of it are?
I think this is a really dumb move. If I'm being completely honest, I think Doc is the best man to lead this team. Probably not, but given their current situation, I don't think it's a very great idea to bring in a bunch of players like they did, especially since Kawhi only has 1 more year in a Clippers uniform, and bring in a brand new coach for that situation. Now, of course, we saw with Nick Nurse and him in their first year, they ended up winning a title, but they look a little jumbled, and Doc Rivers had been a part of that. And to me, when you have a team and a coach that was there to then move on from another coach and expect that to change, to me seems a little weird. I thought they should have just stuck it out with Doc for another year and then gone to another spot if they didn't win the championship the next year.
You know what? I just want to real quick say that I have a special place in my heart for Doc Rivers. But I think Doc Rivers is really good at assembling a good team and then stepping back. I mean, think about it. He had a roster of Rajon Rondo, Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Kendrick Perkins for like 4 years. He won 1 NBA Finals with them. Granted, they had to face up against the Lakers in 2011. He took them to 2. He was 1-1 with them. But he never really did anything else with them. So I think Doc Rivers' thing is he's good at coaching a bad team. Like, he's good at taking role players, but as soon as he gets all these stars with these egos that he's not sure how to make them play together, he can't do it. And I think he realizes that. I think he likes a project. I don't think he likes getting the stars. And I think he probably stepped back from his coaching position. I don't think that he was fired because they would say he was fired. They just said he was out as Clippers head coach, which means it was a mutual decision. So I don't think it's a horrible move. I don't know who's going to coach the Clippers. I can't see anybody else coaching them right now, like in my head. But I don't think it was a horrible move at all.
I don't know with this one because good coaches don't just fall off trees. There's not too many great candidates out there that you could look towards. They're like, oh, yeah, this guy should definitely have a job in the NBA. I know Ty Lue's been thrown around. There's a ton of different guys out there. He's probably the most prominent name. It seems like with any coaching availability, he's always the name that pops in.
Which is so wrong. It's just so wrong.
It is. I agree. I mean, any coach of LeBron besides Eric Spoelstra, because he's established himself as a good coach outside of LeBron, is a coach that is just going to sit back and relax and let LeBron lead that team. So I don't know what exactly he's done that's so proven as far as his NBA career goes as a head coach that would lead teams to be inclined to taking him. I think if it's between him and Doc, I'm keeping Doc. Again, we don't know the exact details of what went down or how they parted ways. That's not something we have a knowledge of. But I think that if for some reason it was the Clippers' decision, it doesn't come as a huge surprise. And I say that because, I mean, look, they blew a 3-1 lead. We've seen some teams get blown up as far as a front office and coaching standpoint when things like this happen. There's definitely a lot of frustration over there in LA. So although I don't think it was the best decision, if that's how it went down, it's one that happened. And we'll see what the Clippers do going forward.
Yeah, I don't think this was the right move. I think that, especially with the candidates that are available, I would have kept Doc for another year. I know he has a history of blowing 3-1 leads, but what he has done over his time with the Clippers is he made it a free agent destination, and he did that by getting Kawhi. And then he also had the chance to get to get Paul George. So I also think that this whole thing with the pandemic and the bubble could have also affected some things, but I think it was a stupid move because if Ty Lue becomes the head coach of that team, I don't think they will be as successful whatsoever. I have no confidence in Ty Lue. I don't think he's that good of a coach. So with the candidates out there and with the resume that Doc Rivers has, I would have kept Doc Rivers in this situation. Where do you guys see Doc Rivers potentially ending up?
Well,
Philadelphia, and we have a comment about that in our chat. I think Philadelphia is a landing spot for him. I mean, they've got talent there already. And Doc Rivers, he's an established head coach. However far you want to go with saying how well he's established, successful-wise, that's up to you. But he's coached the situation. He's coached a bunch of superstars. And that's what they have in Philadelphia. So I feel like that is a fit there.
Yeah, Doc is going to bounce off very quickly. He's going to bounce back from this. I think that he is already one of the top 2 candidates available. I think that there are teams of interest that are in a situation where they need to bring in a veteran head coach who knows his way around the league and knows how to develop younger players that are, right around that, portion of their career where they can kind of take off. You mentioned the Sixers. That seems like a pretty good one. I think that they have a ton of talent. I think that the way they're constructed is not built for the current NBA. So I think that's a challenge for him. We'll see if he were to go there, how he would handle that. But I don't know. It's tough to say as far as landing spots. It's not quite the same with like free agent players. With coaches, it's a little bit more up in the air. There's a lot of different variables, but he'll definitely bounce back from this. I expect Doc to have a job in the NBA.
First of all, we have a question from the one and only John Stern. It's wondering if I'm wearing a John Riggins jersey. No, this is a Forrest Gump, Alabama jersey. Shout out Forrest, number 44. I don't know where Doc Rivers ends up. I don't think it's going to be Philadelphia. I can't see that happening. I don't know why. I just don't feel like the Philadelphia 76ers are smart enough to make that hire. And I also don't think it's the kind of team he would like to coach. I think like Parker said, they're not designed for today's NBA. And Doc Rivers needs to get in there and kind of really change up that team in terms of their play style. And I don't think he's going to do that. He's going to want to do that. Doc Rivers wants to win. He's getting older. I don't think people realize that. He's been in the league a long time. He's probably got he's probably got about 10 good years left in him as a coach, right? So he wants to pick somewhere where he can win and really win. Like, he wants to make a real name for himself. He has one NBA championship. So we'll see what he does. I can't see it being Philadelphia, though.
I think he ends up in Philadelphia. I think that the 76ers, there were those rumors about them getting D'Antoni and trying to make a play at Harden. Way over-exaggerated. I don't think there's any chance of Harden getting out of Houston. But I think that when you're looking at the candidates available, the 76ers need to get someone who's battle-tested and is proven that can coach those big-name stars. And the 76ers have that. And I think that Philip. No, wow, I was about to get into football early. Doc Rivers is the best candidate out there, and I think that he would do a good job working with those superstars. So I think he ends up in Philly. But we do have a question from the one and the only Ethan Ryder.
Long-time listener, first-time commenter.
Yes, sir. He asked, will Paul George be with the Clippers next season? What do you guys think?
Yeah. I don't see why not. Where are they going to send him?
Yeah, there's not too many options. His value isn't as high as it once was, and they gave up 5 first round to get him. They would be sacrificing picks for absolutely nothing at that point. They're going to stick with him. Him and Kawhi are going to have a full year and a full offseason to kind of gel a little bit better, because with the inconsistencies with them being on the court at the same time, it paid dividend in the bubble, and I think that could go a long way. So I don't expect anywhere.
Dom, you got anything? Nothing? I don't think there's any way he's not in a Clippers uniform next year. Parker, you nailed it perfectly, saying they gave up a lot to get him. They gave up, in my opinion, way too much to get him. And yeah, he struggled in the bubble. He struggled at the end of the year. But at the same time, he still has a lot of value. He's not the player he once was, but he's still a great defender. He can still play very high-level basketball. And I think that there's not a team that's willing to give up a lot in order to acquire him as much as the Clippers gave up to acquire him from the Thunder. So I think he is going to end up staying with the Clippers at least through next season. But with that, we will now move on to the NFL. We had a crazy week 3. What game stood out to all of you?
It's got to be the Falcons game. I mean, it's not exactly a shock because we've seen it from them, but to see a team like that look pretty good offensively and then all of a sudden do absolutely nothing in the second half and blow a double-digit lead, that's not good.
Parker, while you were speaking, we got a comment from my good friend Fabiano Teixeira. Shout out to you. We got who's better, Pandemic P or Pat Fortuna? I mean, Pat Fortuna. Pat Fortuna would have probably hit a shot in that Game 7 fourth quarter. But no. Anyways, I'll transition right into the NFL. Craziest game for me, I would say the Seahawks Cowboys. I don't know if that was the craziest game. It got to the outcome I expected, but it was the most fun to watch. DK Metcalf looked good. He's just got to hold on to the ball. I'm liking DK Metcalf a lot this year. I'm really high on him this year. I was high on him coming out of the draft. I was actually really upset the Patriots didn't draft him when they drafted N'Keal Harry. So I really like DK Metcalf. I'd love to see him keep getting better. So yeah, the Seahawks was probably the most fun for me this week.
Biggest takeaway was the Lions aren't going to roll over and die like we're normally used to seeing them do. So they went on the road, which I mean isn't as big of a deal this year as it was in previous years. It still is. You know, you're not playing in your home. You're flying there. You're staying in a hotel, and they beat the Arizona Cardinals, who looked really good through weeks 2. So I was impressed by the Lions' performance. Their defense really stood up to the task of facing Kyler Murray, his dual threat ability, and I was super impressed by them. I was also impressed by the Dolphins. They were 0-2, went on the road and beat a team that was 1-1. Now, of course, the Jaguars are probably the worst 1-1 team in the NFL, at least talent-wise, and I was impressed by both of those two teams going on the road as 0-2 teams and getting wins.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Parker said first. I don't know how the Falcons continually blow leads late in games. I know Nick Foles came in. First off, I want to say I called it that Nick Foles would be in by week 3. Just want to put that out there. But come on, you're up by 16 in the fourth quarter. I don't know how you continually just choke. I think that Dan Quinn should have been fired midway through last season. The only reason he still has a job right now is because they ended the season well last year, including a win over the reigning NFC champions, the San Francisco 49ers. But this team is way better than an 0-3 start, and they shouldn't have lost the game this week. They shouldn't have lost against the Cowboys either. So if I'm the Falcons, I'd fire Dan Quinn right now because I think that he doesn't have it, and they need a fresh start now.
You don't think that's a little bit of an overreaction?
No,
Firing Dan Quinn week 3.
They clearly need a change. I think that blowing leads is more is more of a
Now, but are we
reflection on.
scapegoating Dan Quinn?
It's more of a reflection on the coach than your players. The coaches are making the play calls. Like,
And Dan Quinn's a
listen.
defensive-minded coach. Just want to put that out there.
And I don't think it's entirely on the defense. Of course, there's a big part of it, but I mean, the offense has to go and win the game when you have the lead, and your defense, you can allow points, but guess what? The offense is going to get the ball back unless you allow your opponent to get an onside kick, which we saw in week 2. I think it's more of a reflection on the coaching. I think that you don't really gain anything from firing Dan Quinn when you're 0-3 in week 3. I wouldn't expect him to finish the season, but I think that he can get a few more chances to prove himself, because I think we all know that he's a good coach. He's shown that in the past in Seattle and in his first couple years in Atlanta. But it seems to me that he's lost control of the Falcons. He needs to go. It may not be right now because you're not going to gain anything. You're 0-3 right now, but it's a reflection of the coaching staff when you blow 2 15-point leads in 2 straight weeks. That's bad.
Yeah, like Dom said, they need a change. And maybe I overreacted by saying they should fire him now. I'll admit that. But at the end of the season, if it doesn't get better, which it probably won't, I'm going to be quite honest, then he's got to go. He proved that he has the capabilities to be a great coach. He got them to the Super Bowl. He had them with a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Ever since then, it's been downhill. So if he doesn't turn it around and do it quickly,
it's been downhill since they beat the Rams in the playoffs and Julio Jones dropped the ball in the end zone against the Eagles. Let's clarify that just a bit.
Okay.
Because they did make the playoffs the next year.
All right. Yeah, I can agree with you on that one. I can agree there. But I have one other game, and you guys know I have to bring it up. How about those Chiefs?
You guys looked really good. You looked really good. And listen,
I'm telling you, I tweeted out before the game that this was going to be a Chiefs-Rams scoring parade, and I was shocked. The defense looked so much better than I ever thought they would look against Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he put up over 80 rushing yards. I don't care. Held him to an estimated QBR of 23.2. Yeah, there were a lot of drops by his receivers, especially Mark Andrews, but I was completely impressed with Chiefs defense. The defensive line looked great. Chris Jones had another 2 sacks. So I was completely impressed. Mahomes looked incredible, honestly.
Just wait until the Pats carve him up next week. That's all I'm saying.
We'll get into that later. But it was a terrific game.
So seriously though, Patrick Mahomes, I was watching that game, and did I say this to you, Dom? Where I go, Mahomes looks vintage tonight. Like it was like he didn't win the Super Bowl last year. Because what he looked like was the game or the season where he threw 50 touchdowns. I mean, he looked his MVP season. He looked so good, and maybe it's just because he found out he knocked up his fiance, but I mean, he looked really, really good. And I don't know if he was playing for baby Mahomes, but it was a hell of a game. So I'm happy for the Chiefs. I like watching you guys be good because when you guys are good, football is more fun. Like there's just something so exciting about watching the Chiefs play. I get tingles. However, it's the arrogant fans like you that makes me want to see them go 0-16.
I have never wished the Patriots to go 0-16.
Oh,
ever.
That's so false. Are you kidding me?
I did not wish that this year. Maybe last year.
Well, no, not this year. You have nothing. Watching the Patriots this year is really fun.
Oh yeah, it's really fun.
Talk about that. But
I will say this
first because we talk about the Chiefs. Let me talk about the Chiefs because the 3 of us picked against the Chiefs, and it was more of us picking the Ravens as picking against the Chiefs. The Ravens, they are a proud football team. They know how good they are. They went 14-2 last year, playoffs the year before, started off 2-0, and they know the Chiefs are their biggest competition in the AFC. And they just dominated them. The Chiefs were so dominant on both sides of the football. I thought Lamar played a little bit better than some of his stats showed, and it was more of a credit to the Chiefs' defense. The pass rush was unbelievable, and it was non-existent against the Chargers, which really made me think that I brought this up on the last show, that they were overlooking the Chargers, and it showed. And I think that's what they ended up doing, and the fact that the Chiefs were still able to beat the Chargers, they didn't cover the spread, but they were still able to beat the Chargers while overlooking them to the possible best team in the NFL and then dominating that team shows you, one, how good Patrick Mahomes is, two, how good of a coach Andy Reid is, and just how good this Chiefs team is. So, Ryan,
And
you were right.
Andy Reid's overrated.
Oh, dude, you're just saying that, man. Like, come on.
No.
Listen, he's just saying that. Okay, listen, we need to stop using the word overrated on the show. And I'm not just saying that for Andy Reid. I'm also saying that for my own good. Let's make that
For
very
Tony Gwynn?
Yes.
Okay.
I did.
Hey,
But
hey,
the Chiefs.
We're not into that yet.
Yet, hey, the Chiefs looked fantastic. They look like the team to beat right now. I still believe the Ravens can win the AFC, and I think everyone still thinks they can. They need to play significantly better than how they did against the Chiefs, and it's probably a wake-up call for them. But
What
the Chiefs right now,
last week, I said the Chiefs were going to win this game because it was a statement game for them after a poor performance against the Chargers, and they made that statement that they're the team to beat in the AFC.
You're missing the point of the pick'em
Hold
thing,
on.
though.
No. We're not getting into that, okay? But I'm going to say this. The Chiefs offense continually keeps bringing out more and more creative plays. I had never once thought in my life that Eric Fisher could catch a football. And you know what? He's kind of worth that number 1 overall pick now. But especially his development. But no, it was so cool to see that. That gave me Don Terry Poe vibes after the flying pig passes. Gosh, I miss that guy.
In answer to that question, very upset.
Yeah.
We're just going to leave it at that. We're not going to actually say what was said, but let's just leave it at that.
Oh, you can absolutely read that. That's a public comment right there. This
so
question
funny.
goes out to Ryan Blank. How
Oh,
disappointed are you that you're not Pat Mahomes' first baby mama?
you know, I'm disappointed.
All right.
But getting back to topic, no, it was a great game to watch, and there's still a chance that the Ravens win the AFC. There's no doubt. They're a very talented team, have a ton of great players, but the Chiefs just outplayed them and looked really good.
Yeah, I don't really have anything to add. You guys kind of touch all the points for stuff that actually matters. But we did used to do a fantasy update last year. We don't do it this time around, but I'll give a little update. Lamar got shut down by your defense, and that helped me win. So I appreciate that.
Mahomes going off won me a league, so I'm happy about it.
So
And I would just like to say I'm sorry to Jared Colbert who commented on Kelsey. I'm sorry, but Chiefs won. So
But no one cares about how your fantasy team does. What is more important is what happens on the field and the team's winning or losing. That's all that matters in the NFL.
can we just get Dom to do more ASMR for the show?
yeah, we kind of need that, Dom.
Just like really close into the mic.
Yeah.
No, so I was gonna make a serious comment. You know what? Max Kellerman said the first thing I've ever agreed with him on today, and that is the Patriots are the best contenders to beat the Chiefs in the AFC.
Completely disagree.
Absolutely not.
Completely disagree.
Let's
They're
go.
up there.
Let's go, Max Kellerman, my
I
dog.
completely disagree with that.
And you know You know what? I think it looks right now like the Chiefs could be the 1 seed. You never know how things could go. But if the Chiefs somehow do fall to the 2 seed, there's a strong possibility that the Patriots don't win their division and they end up as a possible 7 seed. And let me tell you, that would be an electric first-round matchup between Cam Newton and the Patriots, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Now, I mean, obviously, a lot's got to go down. We're still only in week 4 of the NFL, but it's never too early to start looking ahead to the possible postseason. And Ryan, you also got to remember, obviously, you're a way different team than the Ravens are. But the Ravens were the number 1 seed last year. They ended the season winning 12 straight. They got bounced in the first round. So just because you look like the top team to be in the AFC doesn't mean you are. Doesn't mean you will.
Oh no,
Right.
that's not what I'm saying at all. But they proved that they are at that level. But I want to go off. Patrick Mahomes, we all know had a terrific game, but his career stats in the month of September are insane. He's 10-0, has 33 touchdown passes and over 3,400 yards in just 3 short years.
Yeah, that's incredible. No, he's incredible.
Yeah.
In September, I remember 2 years ago, our senior year of high school, I was watching Patrick Mahomes play, and oh my God, whenever he had the football, my eyes were locked on the screen. He was throwing like 6 touchdowns a game. It was insane, and he was just unreal. So, I mean, congrats to you. You got him for 10 years. You get to watch every game that man plays in.
Really, it's 12. But I get your point.
10
but-
guaranteed years.
That's very true.
Till he signs
But-
with the Patriots in 2030.
Okay, funny, very funny. Chiefs have until at least 2033. But I think the one thing that I said when I was talking with Payne Gallagher on his show was that each year Mahomes has done something to elevate his game. Last year, it was his ability to now know how to read a defense. Because last year, he didn't know how to read a defense going into the season. He was just playing football in his MVP season without knowing how to read a defense. This year, he's using his legs more. And he's doing a great job of reading plays and knowing when to use his legs. He's done a great job with it. And that's the thing. You can't play man coverage against Mahomes because if he turns back, he's now going to run the ball all over. You saw that against Chargers when he was basically running for his life. But I can go on about Patrick Mahomes, but it was an insane game to see, especially after everyone on Monday Night Countdown picked the Chiefs to lose.
Zip it back up, buddy. Come on.
Okay,
we got some more,
we'll go.
more football to talk
about. I've talked about my team's performance for the week. Let's go into your guys' teams. Pat, go ahead and start us off with how the Patriots looked against the Las Vegas Raiders.
So I'm going to talk a little bit about a chain reaction here. The New England Patriots. I feel like I'm using my hands a lot tonight. The New England Patriots, right? Well, let me start with the Raiders. The Raiders played the New Orleans Saints last week, right? What did they do? They beat them, right? The Raiders fly to New England, right? They play the Patriots. The Patriots are coming off of a loss, a bad loss, a heartbreaking loss. And the Patriots said, you know what? We're better than you, which means we're better than the Saints. Boom. We're going to smoke you. Boom. We're 2-1, and we're coming for the AFC East. I don't care what you guys say. The AFC East, and no, I know the Bills look good. Please don't bring it up. We run the AFC East, and we have for the past 10 years, and we're not going to lose it.
Wait, you're on the team?
Oh, you were saying we for that entire...
I said they. I've actually done a great job.
Can we get a fact check on that? Can somebody rewind and go watch it again for me? Thanks. So, anyways.
Someone posted F in the chat if Ryan was referring to the Chiefs as we. F in the chat.
So, anyways. Also, I'm not a journalism major. I can say whatever I want.
Okay, that's fair. Go right ahead, Pat.
So, I'm here for the spice of the show. So, I'm that flair. No, we look good. They look good. The Patriots look good. Cam Newton is a good quarterback. And the Patriots offense looks better than it has in, well, I'll say like 2 years because we looked really good Super Bowl 52 year. So we look better than we have since then. Super Bowl 53, Super Bowl 54, we have bad years. But we're winners. The Patriots are going to the playoffs this year. With these expanded playoffs, I have no doubt in my mind. So, anyways, Pats are going 12-4, winning the division.
Wow. Wow. Then, what do you have the Bills going?
Right.
What do you have the Bills going? I want to know this now.
11-5.
All right.
You know what? I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna go on mute for that.
Ryan, I apologize for calling you extremely biased the last show. I still agree with it, but wow.
And also, Pat, when you brought up Super Bowl 52, it was so hard for me to bite my tongue to not say how did that season end, but I was good.
I know we lost, but our offense looked really good.
Yeah,
it's not my fault Brandon Cooks got his head blown off in the first quarter, dude. We lost our best receiver.
That's not why you lost, though. Your
No,
offense was the reason why you lost.
I know.
Okay, moving on. Dom, go ahead and talk about the Rams, which kind of fits because do you know who beat them, Pat? Who beat them?
Don't care.
The Bills.
The Bills. Listen, the Rams looked fantastic in this game. There were a couple of drives that ended up in wrong results in the first half for the Rams. And if that didn't happen, I think the Rams come out victorious in this game. And the Bills dominated the Rams because the Bills are probably the third best team in the AFC behind the Chiefs and the Ravens. The Bills, Pat, I stand by it. Okay,
the Bills are a bigger threat to the Chiefs than the Patriots.
Anyways, this isn't. Well, I mean, it kind of is about the Bills, but And the Bills have one of the best defenses in the NFL. The Rams were down 28-3. They came out of the half firing, and
Worst
they were
lead in
running the ball.
football.
Yes. Sorry, Ethan, if you were listening to that. I wasn't going to bring it up. I was just stating facts about the Rams-Bills game, but everyone else seems to make it about their teams. So the Rams came out firing. They were running the ball down 25, which to a lot of teams seems like an odd thing to do. But the Rams offense is set up through the zone run, where hand the ball off to Darrell Henderson, who's been unbelievable so far this year, running behind a strong offensive line that is revamped. And then you can build play action off that and swing wide receivers all the way around the field. And the Rams came back down 28-3 and were leading. And then a heartbreaking drive by the Bills. 3rd and 22, they converted. And then a very bang pass interference call in which both guys, they both enforced contact. And it was close. There was some contact from the defenders. So I'm never gonna complain as a pass interference call as a Rams fan. That'd be extremely hypocritical of me. It was a close call. That's what I just said, Ryan. Thank you. And the call didn't go our way, which is fine. It was a close call. It would have been fine going either way. And then Josh Allen made a beautiful across the field pass for the touchdown to give the Bills the win. But I couldn't be any more happy with the Rams' performance because back-to-back games on the East Coast as a West Coast team are never easy. And especially this year where you can't stay out on the East Coast. Given the COVID-19 global pandemic, you were required to fly back home and stay at your place and then fly back out. And the Rams, who would normally fly out on a Friday for the East Coast game, were required to fly out on a Saturday. So they're even less equated to the time. And they were still able to compete against one of the best teams in the NFL. Could not be any more happy with the Rams. Even though they did lose, 2-1, got to be happy with it. I wish the Rams could play the NFC East every single week. Unfortunately, that's not how it rolls. That division stinks. I said it was going to stink on the show. And,
The NFC East, you actually get the hot take, dude.
Well,
I said on
the Cowboys have gotten serious hype as Super Bowl contenders, and I said
that's true.
That's blasphemous. And then
that's true. You have said that.
People said the Eagles were a potential playoff team, and I said that's blasphemous.
Look, earlier today. Thank you. Earlier today on my other show, 3 Guys 1 Mic, 9 to 10 a.m. on Blaze Radio. Anyways, earlier today on that show, I said, listen, let's just eliminate the NFC East from football. 28 teams is fine. Take the Jets with them on the way out. 27 teams is fine. We'll add a new one. We'll take the best of all those teams, which I'm pretty sure would just be the Cowboys again, and we'll make it work. Just eliminate the NFC East. That's
all right. There's not too much to talk about with Denver. They did not look good. Tampa handled them. And more injuries. It's the common theme. Seems like every week there's going to be a season-ending injury. This time, Jarrell Casey, torn bicep. He's out for the year. This season has just been a nightmare, really. I mean, not just with the lack of success and the record that they have, but just for guys that are getting injured. Because it's not just little bumps and bruises. These are big-time injuries. They're going to affect them going forward in their careers. And you hate to see it. So it was not a very entertaining game. Special teams continues to haunt Denver. And they had a block punt that was taken back. It is just a bad look. This is a team that is not in a good place as far as health goes. And when you put that into the mix with a young core offensively, there's just not too much leadership. Brett Rippon is going to start Thursday Night Football against the Jets. And I would have never thought going into the season that would have been a difficult pick to make. But with all the injuries that they've had, that has now become the case.
Okay, before we move on, does anyone else have anything they want to talk about their team? I know Pat probably has something new.
No, nothing.
No,
believe it or not.
let's move on.
Okay. Next up,
let's talk about.
We've got the Titans and Vikings who played this past week, and it was the Vikings who have had the Titans who've had several positive cases for COVID-19 that could lead to postponements of their upcoming games this week. What do you guys see about this whole situation, and what could be the effects going out that could play out for the rest of the year?
Well, they already postponed the Titans game. We knew that was going to happen at some point. It was just a matter of what team and when. And as long as they handle it well, it's a part of life now. It's something we have to deal with. So I think they've handled it well so far. Postponing the game is smart. They're doing the same thing the MLB did, and that's the right thing to do. So I'm not too worried about it. I think we're going to see this more this season. I don't think this is going to be an isolated incident. But good on them for jumping ahead of the situation and getting it solved. So good for them.
Comes as no surprise. This is something that you expect to see. If you don't have a bubble like the NBA where the players are in their own confinement, this is going to happen. Guys can follow protocol to the best of their ability. All it takes is one, though. That was the case with this. There was rumors that they're looking to potentially move it back to Monday Night Football if possible. Don't know what's going to come out of this. It comes back to testing, whether or not they can get all the negative results that they need to confirm it's safe to play so that they don't risk further spreading it. I don't know how it's going to shape out, but this doesn't come as a surprise. This is just one of the obstacles that the NFL should be prepared for going into the year. We'll see how they handle it going forward.
I don't got anything to add.
So for the situation, it sucks, but like you said, Bro, you kind of got to expect it because there's a lot more responsibility and accountability on the players when you can't have a bubble. So it sucks because I don't know if it's anyone who is on their active roster. I know there's one or two of their players who are on the practice squad. I don't know who all tested positive, but the NFL just has to do kind of what the MLB has done. Like Pat said, just postponing it until everyone's healthy because you don't want to risk the spread to more and more teams. You want to eliminate it at the forefront before it gets worse.
Yeah, and something really quick to comment on. Did you guys see the Raiders thing where they had this big event with like 50 people at it? None of them wore masks. It was indoors in Vegas. So there's things like that MLB players avoided all season because they want to play. If you really want to play football, you have to avoid events like this. And their hearts were in the right place. It was for a good cause. I believe it was a fundraiser for cancer research or something of the sort. I'm not exactly sure. Don't quote me on that. But their hearts were in the right place. If you want an NFL season, though, you got to make the choice. Do you want these things or do you want to play? So I think if we can avoid things like what if, God forbid, it was the Titans who had that event, right? And then everybody there has COVID. Boom, season suspended. All it takes is one mess up. So I think a little bit more care and attention from NFL players would go a long way too.
Yeah, I agree. The accountability has got to stay where it's at and even increase if you want to make sure that you get through the entire season and through the playoffs without any suspensions. So with that, we are going to move on to the current standings in our weekly pick'ems. We have a three-way tie for first place between Dom, Parker, and Pat, who all have a record of 33, 14, and 1. But don't worry.
Won the week, baby.
But don't
Who's
worry.
in last?
I came back, and I'm only one game behind Pat and Parker now. I'm at 32, 15, and 1. So I'm going to find a way to come back. Don't worry. There's too much football left for me not to come back. So
There's also more football for you to increase
Right.
your
You know what, Dom?
deficit.
You know what, Dom?
It
You know
goes
what you're going to
both
wear.
ways.
Dom, you know what you're going to wear when you lose.
Dude, if you have to buy me a shirt,
Oh, it'll be
that
worth
means
it.
that means it's rent free. It's rent free. Listen,
No.
What if I
Dom,
buy
we've
the
gone
shirt?
through this. We've gone through
listen,
this.
dude. I paid. You can't. I paid my rent to your head.
Yeah.
You didn't.
Wait, no. You paid for me to live in your head.
All right, pick'ems. Woo.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get to
enough
it.
of this conversation, Dom. I live in your head rent-free. You're nowhere close. Week 4 matchups, starting off with tomorrow night. The Denver Broncos travel to I was going to try to come with something clever for the turf at MetLife, but they're going to travel to New York to face the Jets. Who do we have?
I have the Broncos. I think the Broncos practice squad is better than the New York Jets. So I'm taking the Broncos here.
This is so tough because I'm not going to make a pick based off of whether or not my team's playing. I'm just going to go with what I see on the field. Not much optimism with Denver with the injuries, but I still think that outside of quarterback, they're a more complete team. So I'll go with them. But honestly, it's not a great pick one way or another because it's a first career start by Brett Rippon. Don't know what he's going to do, but sure, I'll take him. Let's see if we can get a win on our schedule.
I think Sam Darnold has the ability to win this game for the Jets. I don't think he will, though. I'm going to take the Broncos.
I'm also going to take the Broncos. I know
This game also
been,
doesn't matter. This is just
Oh,
for
yeah.
pick'em sakes.
Yeah, it does not matter.
this would be a type of game
Obviously,
that
to
I
me
could
it
use
does,
to
but,
gain,
you know what I'm
but
saying.
I just don't think the Jets are going to win this game. So I'm going to give it to the Broncos in this one. Next up, starting off the 10 a.m. slate of games, we've got the Colts traveling to Chicago to take on the new leader, Nick Foles and the Bears.
Colts.
Yeah, I was the only person to be on the right side of the Bears game last week. Thank the Lord that happened. Oh, man.
Oh wait,
'cause
you'd be in the cellar with me, and you know that you'd fall.
I would be in the cellar alone.
Oh wait, yeah, you would.
Yeah, because I can do math.
I hate the
I'm
Falcons more now.
I'm like
Dude,
Captain
Ethan, I don't
Blank.
like your team even more now.
Anyways, I was on the right side the last week. I'm going to be on the right side again by picking against them. The Colts, their defense is probably the best defense the Bears have faced this year, and it's probably also one of the better offenses. Who knows where the Falcons' offense even stands? I'm going to take the Colts.
Give me the Bears. I like Nick Foles in at QB. I think that they're not giving him enough of a shot. He won Super Bowl MVP against my team. I am never going to doubt that man. And he's getting paid too much money to suck. So I'm going to give it to the Bears this week. I think that this new look offense is going to be good for them. So
This is a tough game for me, but there's something that I have learned over watching the AFC West. Phillip Rivers will always throw an interception or somehow turn over the ball in the fourth quarter. That's going to happen this week. I'm taking the Bears at home. So, Pat, we're going to be rooting for the Bears this week.
never
Next
mind.
game.
I picked the Colts.
Can't do that. No.
Damn. Did Parker make his pick?
Yeah, Parker picked the Colts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It's
next
2-2.
game, we've got the Saints traveling to Detroit.
I'm going to take the Lions in this game, actually. I think the way the Lions performed against Arizona, against a 2-0 team, is significantly better than anything we've seen from the Saints in these past 2 weeks.
You know, I really thought I was going to be alone on this one, but I'm gonna take the Lions too.
I'm going to go Saints.
I actually saw a lot of good things from the Saints in this game. Yeah, their defense looked rough, but the offense looked a lot better. Yeah, it's relying a lot on Alvin Kamara, but Michael Thomas has returned to practice, so I'm going to stick with the Saints. Next game, the Cardinals travel to Carolina in an attempt to bounce back after a bad loss at home.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. The Panthers are a dumpster fire, dude. I didn't expect them to be such a dumpster fire, but they are. So
They
I'm
beat,
gonna go
the,
Cardinals.
they beat the C words. That was pretty awesome.
They did. They did.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as well. They got to win against a Chargers team. The Panthers got a win against a Chargers team that's just not very good and keeps getting hit with injury. So I'm going to take the Cardinals. Next up, the Jaguars travel to Cincinnati.
Cincy, gonna ride with Burrow.
Just so we don't have confusion, I also picked the Cardinals. I don't know if that was caught in the audio, but wanted to make sure there's no confusion.
You said birds.
Yeah, I did. I just couldn't tell if it was heard. So let's see. I don't know. This game, I hate picking Jags games. I feel like I just can't get a feel for them. I feel like the Bengals have actually competed at a relatively decent level for it hasn't won a game yet. So give me Joe Burrow. Let's see what he can do out there.
Listen, I picked Cincinnati twice now. I am up on them. They've let me down both times. So let's go with the Bengals. Let's do it again. Let's run it back. The law of averages. They can't lose them all.
It's like a drug.
Right. I just keep coming back.
It's like Ryan and gambling.
Yo,
Right.
Mom,
that's not true. Mom, don't check the credit card
You know
statement.
what?
Mom, it's
You know
not
what?
true.
you know what, Tom? Your Padres just suck. So we'll get into that later, though. But
Royals look
we
great
won't.
today, Ryan. Royals look great.
why, thank you. Why, thank you. I appreciate that. But I'm also going to take the Bengals in this game. I really just, after last week's performance from Gardner Minshew, I don't have much confidence in him. So, and after a tie in Philly, I think the Bengals are finally going to get their first win with Burrow. Next up, Cleveland travels to Dallas to take on the Cowboys.
Dallas.
Yeah, I'm going to take Dallas. The strength of the current Browns offense is running the football, and I think Dallas's front seven is going to stop them enough to give them the win.
Inject the Browns right into my veins in this game. Give me the Browns all day.
Okay, Pat, I'm gonna take the Cowboys in this one. I think they're gonna bounce back this week after losing to Seattle. Speaking of Seattle, we've got the Seattle Seahawks traveling to Miami to take on the Dolphins.
Birds.
I'm going to take
Bird.
I'm going to take Seattle. It's going to be a good game. Miami finally looked good last week, but
I'm also going to take the Seahawks in this one. Next up, we've got a battle of winless teams as the Vikings and Texans face off. This game could get postponed. We don't know, but we do know that the Vikings are returning to their practice facility tomorrow.
Texans.
I'm going to go with the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are a team that I have grossly I think that they're grossly underrated as an 0-3 team. I think they're probably one of the better 0-3 teams. The Texans, I think, are the worst 0-3 team. And I wouldn't have said that 3 weeks ago, but I'm going to say the Texans are the worst 0-3 team.
But you picked the Texans last week. Let me remind you of that.
I did. And now after watching them play, I regret that pick.
And I actually didn't think either of these teams looked bad last week. These are the two best 0-3 teams in my mind. I'm going to put that out there. Tough game. It's honestly a coin flip for me. I'm going to side with the Vikings, though. I don't really have a reason for it. I'm just picking the Vikings.
I've got the Texans in this one. I think they're one of the best 0-3 teams. So going back home, I think they're going to get their first win. Texans in this one. The Chargers travel to Tampa Bay to take on Tom Brady and the Buccaneers.
Bucks.
I'm gonna take the Buccaneers here too. Part of me doesn't want to. I have a bad feeling about this game, but I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bucks in this one.
I'm also going to take the Buccaneers. The Steelers travel to take on Tennessee at a date to be determined, but we're still going to pick it. Who do you guys have?
I'm going to go with the Steelers. The Titans have won all 3 games on field goals late in the game. I think it finally ends when they face the Steelers.
I'm going with Tennessee here.
I think these are two 3-0 teams that I don't think very highly of in comparison to some other ones. So this game could go either way. I'll differ. I think I'll go Titans here. I mean, I don't want to be biased towards the Steelers because of my outlook going into the season of them. I just don't know with them. Their defense is incredible, but I just feel like there's some gaps in this team. The same way I look at the Titans, so it's really a toss-up. So we'll flip the coin. Go Titans.
Sorry, before Ryan, you make your pick. Can I just make something clear? Sorry, let me clarify.
Yeah,
what
I
meant.
was actually going to mention that comment made by Fabiano.
Yeah.
He's right.
Let me be clear what I mean. I don't mean they are the worst 0-3 team. I said that wrong. They are the most disappointing 0-3 team. I am most disappointed by watching this team at 0-3. They should be better than they are.
Who is the most disappointing 0-3 team in your eyes, Ryan? Because I 100% agree it's the Texans. They've had a rough schedule early. They've played 3 playoff teams so far, but
Honestly, despite their injuries, the Broncos, because I still think they should have won week 1.
They could have won week 1 and 2, but here they are.
I still think they
0-3.
should have at least one win. That's my team.
yeah, I think that's the other answer. But I feel like given their injuries, they have more of an excuse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think the Texans are certainly capable of rebounding, but I think the way they've played so far defensively in the offensive line, I think I'm going to pick the Vikings. This game's super weird, to be completely honest. There are a lot of weird games this week.
Going back to it, I'm actually going to pick. We were on the Steelers, right? Yeah, I lost track. Okay, I'm picking the Steelers over the Titans. I think I've been high on the Steelers all year, and I think that the defense is still really good. Ben Roethlisberger's playing pretty well, so I really like the Steelers in this game. Next up, the Giants travel to L.A. to take on the Rams.
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 By far the Rams. By far. Next up, the Bills travel to Vegas to take on the Raiders.
Game of the week, Bills. It's gonna be awesome.
This could be a very good game. I was pretty torn, but I think ultimately the Bills, they're the more complete team with the way that offense looks alongside that defense, which we knew was good. I think they'll take it.
I'll go with the Bills on this one as much as I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills as well in this one. Josh Allen looked really good last week.
Yeah.
Next
he made
up,
some bonehead plays, but he did look really good.
that's very true. But he always has a couple bonehead plays again.
He's Josh Allen. He's Josh Allen.
He's
That's
not
who
like,
he is.
he's not like a game manager, but he's really good at extending plays.
Yeah.
Like
He's the opposite of a game manager. Like when I think of game manager, he's the last quarterback in the NFL.
right, exactly.
He's a
That's fair. That's fair. Next up, we've got the Ravens traveling to Washington to take on the football team.
Ravens.
Bounce back,
Ravens.
Lamar. Bounce back.
Especially if Young's hurt. Yeah, Ravens. Okay.
Ravens in this one all the way. Next up, Pat, us two. Patriots travel to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Do you remember the last time the Patriots traveled to Kansas City?
I do. N'Keal Harry was robbed of a touchdown that would have won us the game.
No. Last time the Patriots went to Kansas City before the playoffs.
Oh,
in
are you talking
2018.
about before the playoffs?
Yeah.
No, I don't remember that.
2014 on Monday Night Football, the Chiefs decimated the Patriots.
They're not good anymore.
24-14. So
They're
there's
not
that.
good anymore.
So
That was, yeah, geez.
Patriots.
What a freezing cold take.
travel to the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium. Who do we have, gentlemen?
Go Chiefs. I think it could be a very good game, though. But I think that the
Because-
Chiefs' offense is just too much to handle.
So because I know I'm going to be alone on this one, and because I know that I can show bias because they're my team.
You tell me I'm biased? Come
Yeah.
on.
And this is really just to
You're a
piss you off, Ryan.
hypocrite.
This is really just to anger you. So
Hypocrite.
because I know I'm going to be alone, and it's a winnable game for the Patriots. I'm not sold on us winning, but I know it's winnable. And I know I'm going to be alone. So in this game, I am taking the New England Patriots.
Okay, well, I have one thing to
guys,
say, Pat.
guess what? We have someone who's going to be in last after
Hey.
this week.
Week is this not the week, the destined week that you had prophesized with Pat Mahomes?
This is the
Oh, no. Oh, my Lord.
I don't
No.
encourage it. It's just a funny little joke.
Stop,
Throw it out
stop.
there.
I forgot that I said week 4.
Yep.
No. Okay. I have the Chiefs in this one.
Just imagine.
I don't think this is going to be an extremely close game. I think it'll be about 10 to 14 point win for the Chiefs. So, next up, Sunday Night Football. The Eagles travel to San Francisco to take on the 49ers for Sunday Night Football.
How important is this? This is Sunday Night Football and not the Patriots Chiefs. Like, come on.
You
People,
should flex
did
it
you not
back.
look at
Just saying.
Well, they have to flex it multiple weeks in advance. Did people not take a look at the Eagles roster and say, "Hey, they're not that good anymore. They're not good anymore." 49ers.
will.
The 49ers were hurt and just mashed the Giants, and I don't think it's as big of a mashing, but they certainly take the game. 49ers.
Yeah, injuries or not, they still win this game.
Yeah, inject the 49ers right into my veins.
Niners for the win.
I'm going to take the Niners in this one. And to cap it off on Monday night, the winless Falcons go to Lambeau Field to take on Aaron Rodgers and the Packers.
Good luck, Falcons defense.
I'm
Good
just going to
luck.
say this. I'm going to go with the hunch that all of us picking the Falcons. Should we take a spread here instead?
Yeah, I would take Falcons on spread, 100%. Take the points, but Packers outright.
Yep. Aaron Rodgers going to do it to him. He's the bad man, so Packers going to win this.
You guys sure about that?
Yes.
Pat,
you
just
sure
make-
about that?
Yes.
Give me the Falcons.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I'm going to be in last.
Yo, Ethan's got to be going crazy, right?
I'm gonna pull away in one direction or the other this week.
Gosh. I'm taking the Packers in this one. Aaron Rodgers has looked so good, and I think he's only going to continue to tear it up. So, Packers in this one. That concludes our picks for this week. Pat, good luck, buddy. I think that you might be the one who is just making his way to the punishment at the end of the year with these picks. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for listening in to the 4-3 show for our Week 4 predictions and NBA Finals talk. We will be back next week on Tuesday as we will be joining Blaze Radio production and broadcasting for their...
We're going to be on the radio next week.
Yeah, basically, we're going to be on their radio next week. It's finally starting up. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. Have a great rest of your week and enjoy this week of football, starting off with tomorrow night's game.